Okay, welcome everyone. My name is Reece Akhtar, CEO of Deeper Signals, and thank you for joining me and Stephanie today. We're both super excited to share with you DynaMo and the latest updates we've made to this state-of-the-art development tool that helps organizations accelerate talent development in the age of AI. Before we begin, feel free to use the chat function to leave any comments and questions. I'm super excited to hear your thoughts. So there are three ideas that I would like you all to walk away with today. The first is that at Deeper Signals, we believe that AI is reshaping talent potential. I'm going to spend a few minutes explaining what we mean by this and how AI is having this effect. We're also going to explain why we believe that traditional talent assessment and coaching tools are no longer fit for purpose, given these changing demands. And then we'll also explore how technology will help us nurture and coach people to embrace and enhance our most human talents. As we explore each of these ideas and trends, Stephanie and I will be sharing the new and exciting ways that Deeper Signals is helping organizations navigate these trends. I think it's safe to say that we don't know ourselves or each other very well. When we look at the problems organizations face, many of them stem from a lack of human understanding. That is, people don't understand themselves, leading to ineffective decisions, poor relationships, and unhelpful behaviors. Leaders don't understand their teams, leading to underperformance and missed opportunities. This lack of awareness really gets in our way of leading productive and satisfying careers and lives. And now the pursuit of self-awareness is something that can be traced back to ancient philosophy. However, it was only more recent. Yuval Harari noted out that AI will be able to know us better than we know ourselves. And so really, why is this important for organizations? Why is self-awareness a critical skill for organizations? Well, scientific literature shows that leaders and teams that embrace self-awareness are more effective at work. Yet, unfortunately, estimates suggest that only 10% of people are truly self-aware. I think this low number or low level of awareness at work is really the result of traditional tools failing to meet the needs of their people. That is, when we look at how self-awareness is embedded and practiced within organizations, it's really reserved to senior leaders. That is, they have executive coaches, they have expensive assessments that activate and unlock this awareness. But for everybody else, they don't have the opportunity to receive that feedback, to go on these personalized journeys. And really, this is the mission at Deeper Signals, is to democratize self-awareness. We want to use cutting-edge technology, scientific assessments, and evidence-based approaches to help everyone understand themselves, activate the awareness, and achieve their full potential at work. And to date, we've helped over 300,000 people from some of the world's largest organizations get the feedback and self-insight that they need to live and work better. Now, I think it's safe to say as well that the need to democratize self-awareness has never been greater. Over the last few years and accelerating in the last few months, we're seeing AI reshape talent development and ultimately human potential. The advent of large language models clearly demonstrates how such technology will change the way that we work and ultimately call into question around what is our role when many of our tasks that we practice and do each day are going to be automated. Where does the human sit within an organization? And so to understand how AI is reshaping talent potential, I think there's three ideas or three concepts that we should understand and get our heads around. The first is just accepting and understanding how AI is changing what it means to be human. Understanding the opportunities that AI brings, enabling us to embrace our most human talents, which may seem counterintuitive given the current discussion around the role of AI at work. And then I think there's a huge opportunity to leverage AI to democratize coaching and to actually accelerate the way that we work, develop, and engage people. So let's look at the first one. Over the last 20 years, with interconnectedness fueled by social media, I think it's clear that we are left more narcissistic and more self-centered. We're less curious and more predictable. And unfortunately, estimates would suggest that we're more lonely, anxious, and depressed, right? These are not ideal outcomes in for the modern society. But unfortunately, this distraction economy, fueled by virtual ways of working, has finely tuned our mental heuristics and reward pathways to keep us hooked and addicted, and really exploiting probably our least helpful tendencies. And so while AI has been relatively out of the game, given these trends, I think it's safe to say that as AI becomes embraced and embedded into these technologies, this shift will only hasten, and that if left unchecked, these trends will only accelerate. And so this has a significant impact for work because we can see these negative trends bleeding into the workplace. For example, people are increasingly disengaged and disconnected at work. They feel burned out and stressed out. Their managers don't know how to engage or manage them. And ultimately, people feel like they're not working to their full potential. This is leaving us distracted, unable to connect with others, really limiting our ability to gain that self-insight and practice it to become great leaders, good colleagues, and effective contributors at work. And so ultimately, if we're unable to be proactive about how technology and AI is reshaping human behavior and potential, the war for talent that we've been discussing, since the 90s will only increase as we're competing over a smaller pool of talent. So we have to get ahead of these trends and start to use and understand technology and AI in more effective ways. And I think we can summarize this push and pull between both the benefits and strengths of AI through using the phrase the AI paradox. And what I mean by that is the technologies that we've seen today, are diminishing human potential. But I think with the right guardrails and human-centered design, we can use them to coach people into having a deeper human connection. Let me explain a little bit more about what I mean by this. Ultimately, with AI replacing a lot of the manual and work that we do, what is left? What is left for us to do and contribute to the workplace, to our careers, and to our organizations? Well, if we look at the broad view of history, we can see that the Industrial Revolution mechanized physical labor. We can see that AI will mechanize intellectual capital. And so while people are understandably concerned about losing their jobs to AI and replacing much of their work through these automated technologies, I think we can say that AI will increase, or the mass adoption of AI will increase the importance or our ability to leverage social capital. In other words, the most human qualities outside of intelligence and hard skills are going to become the most important and desired traits, as what's left is our ability to collaborate, to ideate, and work with others. That's going to be the main way we get work done. And so recently, my colleague and I, Thomas Tremero, wrote an article in Harvard Business Review, really unpacking this. We looked at, what types of AI are emerging, what types of work will they replace, and then also what are some of the talents or skills that will remain uniquely human and in the human domain. And ultimately, what we found was that there is 3 soft skills or super talents that are 1, coachable, and 2 are going to become incredibly more important over the coming years. That is curiosity. So our ability to maintain a hungry mind, leveraging our creativity and thinking strategically. These are things that AI will unlikely be able to replicate and remain in our domain. Humility. So staying open to feedback, practicing that growth mindset, and staying self-aware so that we can be adaptive and respond to changes in the environment. And then finally, emotional intelligence. How can we continue to be a great collaborator, stay a great communicator, and really bring people together? So AI is going to be a tool to do the hard work, the rote work, but our ability to bring people together, to stay curious, to be a great collaborator are going to be the most important skills that we should be embedding and developing in organizations right now so they can thrive within these future trends. And this is leading to my third point, which is as AI is reshaping talent, I think its ability to unlock talent potential is going to be at a scale greater than traditional methods. So as I mentioned earlier, good quality feedback, the type you get from an executive coach has been reserved for senior leaders because it's been expensive, it's been very hands-on, and doesn't scale. Yet scientific studies show that AI can actually predict our personality, our behavior better than our closest friends and family. And so when we take this innovation, we can easily see how AI will allow us to provide more meaningful development feedback at every level of the business. In short, what this means is with new technologies, we can provide everyone with personalized coaching experiences so they can become their best, so they can stay self-aware and develop those soft skills I mentioned so they can thrive in the age of AI. And so to meet these evolving trends and demands, we're really pleased to announce the latest update to DynaMo. DynaMo is a state-of-the-art development tool that activates self-awareness and helps every professional achieve their goals. With DynaMo, everyone can now receive personalized feedback on their soft skills and go on weekly coaching sprints to build the capability and critical talents needed to thrive within the modern workplace. It's like having a professional coach that provides you with dynamic and on-demand advice to help you grow and thrive. And that is going to be available to everyone in the organization. So to talk a little bit more about DynaMo, I'm going to hand it over to my colleague, Stephanie, for a closer look.
Thanks, Reece. So like Reece said, this is really a tool built for the modern organization, organizations that value efficiency, inclusivity, that really want to lean into technology and AI to work smarter and faster. So what we've built is a series of dynamic goal-based coaching sprints. So after a user completes their core drivers, a scientifically valid personality assessment, they receive their results, and then they're prompted to select a goal that we've curated specifically for them. So every user has a list of goals specific to who they are as a person, their strengths, their gaps, and what they likely need to work on. So instead of having these programs that are, designed for everyone, assuming everyone is working on the same goals, the same topics, this allows everyone to have a more personalized experience when it comes to their development work. And we make it really easy to fit this into the average workday. So there's no excuse that someone doesn't have enough time, because they're short, bite-sized pieces of information, pulling from the latest research, providing activities, tasks, prompts, questions that help focus that person on what that development goal is, and keeps providing them material based on that goal and based on the time they want to commit to going through this journey. So what does this look like? I need some help with the next slide there, Reece.
No worries.
So scientific insights powered by the core drivers assessment, like I mentioned, built upon the most scientifically validated and reliable model of personality, we measure 12 talents that are critical for work performance. So rather than relying on your intuition or your own emotions or bias in regards to what someone should work on, how they show up, their strengths and weaknesses, we use science to provide that information and to direct people to the goals that matter most. So unlike other digital coaching tools, this is the only tool out there that integrates this personality assessment, machine learning, and evidence-based methods to provide that coaching. So currently on core drivers, you might have gone through the digital coaching section or the learning journeys, and that's providing feedback based on who you are. DynaMo is taking it to the next level by providing you goals and strategies based on who you are. To achieve important work-related outcomes. So DynaMo is something that is going to change the game in terms of feedback and coaching. It's for everyone, not just senior leaders. Before you might have only had the budget to provide a hand-picked group of people these opportunities. But at Deeper Signals, we really value inclusivity and want to democratize self-awareness and also feedback and make it an engaging, personalized experience. So now everyone has access to these tools that help them become more self-aware, and to providing goals that help them be their best selves every day. We can measure and track the progress, how engaged and invested people are in these journeys, and giving leaders that information is critical. And it's ongoing. So after someone completes one goal, they're prompted to select another goal from this list. So it's an ongoing journey. It doesn't stop after one goal is completed. And in a bit, I'll talk about how we can use this tool to help not only individuals, but teams and leaders. But I think you've heard enough now, and it's time to take a look at what this technology actually looks like in action.
Thank you so much, Steph. So let me just switch to my other screen. So what we're going to first look at is the user journey from the very start of their DynaMo experience. So as Steph mentioned, the DynaMo journey begins with the individual completing their core drivers. So the core drivers is a scientific personality assessment built around the 5-factor model of personality, and it's been extensively tested, validated to show that it predicts and measures critical work behaviors. Now, we use machine learning to keep the assessment experience super quick, so it can measure both your strengths, your risks, leadership opportunities, and team skills all within 7 minutes. So what you can see in the screen right now is that conversational nature of the assessment, where people go through and just quickly rate questions about how they see themselves. And then at the end, our scoring algorithm is able to take and look at your pattern of responses to correctly identify where your biggest strengths and development opportunities are. I'm just going to jump ahead and complete the rest of the survey. Now, unlike traditional assessments, where it takes maybe 30, 40 minutes to complete with lots of tedious questions, and then you just get a PDF report, we really believe in that spirit of democratization to give people feedback right away. And so what you see is the core drivers report that an individual would receive. And there's a few interesting things that I want to call out. Now, while we are measuring up to 30 different behaviors and tendencies, what we want to do is actually provide a very streamlined, focused development feedback report and experience for the individual. So unlike traditional reports where you have pages of content and multiple dimensions to balance and interpret, we just point out the 3 ways that you are most unique at work. And so here we can see that my most unique talents are being candid, stable, and reserved. And then also on the right, we can see how these talents can become risks and problematic or areas of ineffectiveness if I don't manage them correctly. And so as you scroll through this report, you'll get interpretive, personable, and easy to understand feedback around your core drivers. So you can understand, okay, how do these behaviors play out? And ultimately, what can I do to better manage them in times of stress? So here we can see how being candid, if I don't manage myself, can become insensitive. Or if I'm really stable, I can become unemotional. And what we do is we don't just tell people kind of this is what we think of you, but instead give people practical suggestions for them to go and practice. So they're able to have a very clear step around what am I meant to do with these insights. The rest of the report highlights kind of team skills and team risks, their impact as a leader and the way they make decisions, and also links to other resources and materials that could be helpful to go deeper into these themes. Now, this is great, right? It's a very quick, engaging, and practical feedback report, but really DynaMo is designed to activate that awareness, right? We've learned now that I'm candid and stable and reserved. I get some ideas and suggestions on what I could do to best manage that. Now, DynaMo is going to help me go to that next step and actually start practicing and building these soft skills. So I can launch DynaMo directly from my report. And then what I'm going to see is a very simple and clear user journey around how do I set up and use DynaMo. So we'll have a little instruction. We'll have an instruction video that describes what to expect. We provide some tips for success. So we advise people to keep it small, and ultimately partner up with people so you can support each other. So let's go and start my journey. Now, at the start of your DynaMo journey, we use the core drivers to intelligently curate a list of goals that are going to push the needle on your performance. So here you can see that my core driver, or my highest core driver, is being very candid. So what I'm being served or suggested is a set of goals that are going to help me better leverage and manage this quality. How can I get the most out of being candid, while also improving my ability to collaborate, be considerate, and understand others' emotions? If I scroll down, I can see other goals that I can work on, again, all tailored to my core drivers. Now, this is important because oftentimes we don't know what to work on, or our goals are too broad and too big, or ultimately too ambitious. What we're able to do is provide goals that are going to be closely aligned to someone's profile. They're going to be goals that are achievable and realistic. And ultimately, they're going to be goals that target the development areas and strengths that each user has. So every DynaMo journey is going to be unique to the individual. A DynaMo journey has 3 parts to it. It is consisted of 3 different sprints. So for this first sprint, I'm going to choose to build trust with others. And then what I can do is I can choose how long I want to work on that sprint. It could be 30 days if it's a behavior or a goal that I just want to touch up on. Or if I want to, if I see this as a really big stretch goal, I will want to give myself more time so I can really practice, integrate, and embody what it means to be more trusting to others. For now, I'm just going to choose 30 days. I then just get some instructions around what to expect. And then I can click start. What you're seeing right now is my DynaMo feed. So for the next 30 days, I'm going to be served coaching activities to practice, each one building on from the last. So we use principles of behavior change and also content designed by our team of expert coaches to scaffold behavior change over a period of time. So what we can see here in this first card is trying to just help me understand what trust is and why trust matters. And then I get a short activity for me to practice this week. The idea is we don't want to give people very large goals or behaviors that are going to be unattainable. And instead, we try to keep it small, bite-sized, and micro behaviors that they can fit in to the everyday of their work. Once I have reviewed this card, I then go out and practice it. I can then mark it as complete. Now, what will happen is in the next 5 days, I'm going to get another activity to practice. I'll be able to get a notification, I'll be able to work on that activity and continue to work through that sprint. And of course, I can always go and view my previously completed cards. Alongside, I can track my progress. So how much progress am I making towards my sprint? How many activities have I completed? How many activities are left for me to work on? Alongside seeing upcoming sprints, so other goals that I would choose to work on once these 30 days have expired. Now, once that sprint is at the end, I'll be able to choose my next goal, choose how long I want to work on it, and then go through that process again. What I'm going to do is just switch to another user that is on their 3rd sprint. So they've been working on their DynaMo journey for the last 2 or 3 months. And this will give you a good insight around what it looks like when someone is deeply embedded into the process. Here we can see that they're on their 3rd sprint and that they're working on addressing, not avoiding conflict, something that is needs to be worked on if you are a candid person. Here we can see the progress. Again, I've completed 4 of my 6 activities in this 30-day sprint, and I'm on my final sprint. Once the sprint has ended, or all 3 sprints have ended, I'm able to do 2 things. One, I can retake my core drivers and see whether I've seen some shift and change in my profile and then repeat this journey. Or if there's other goals that I want to work on, I can repeat this process. Now, here we can see a full feed of all the cards that I've yet to complete with their activities. And then I can see my completed cards here. And I can also view the cards and content from previously completed sprints. So once a sprint is over, I'm always able to go back, review my progress, continue to have a bank of content that's personalized to me for me to practice. Now, this is a very self-directed, user-driven solution. Now, of course, development doesn't happen in a vacuum. So as a manager or a organizational leader, you would be able to have access to different coaching reports to further understand and support your direct reports development. So here, for example, is my colleague Sean. I can see what their core drivers are. I can then start to understand, okay, where are this person's development goals and areas of improvement. I get coaching questions and other management tips. Now, this information is helpful because it opens up a dialogue. The direct report can go to their manager and say, hey, I really want to work on certain things to advance my career. The manager would be able to look at this report and open up a dialogue between the manager and the direct report around what should Sean work on, and then ultimately use that conversation to inform the goals and the sprints and journeys that Sean works on using DynaMo. So that way it's self-directed, while keeping and building this feedback culture within the team and building that psychological safety and trust between the manager and their direct report. So that's a very quick run through of DynaMo. Steph, would you like to add anything that I haven't mentioned?
Yeah, to your last point, Reece, if anyone's been tasked with creating a development plan for an employee, how difficult that process can be, and just coming up with what these goals, how we should word them and what those actions look like. So this is really a gift to fast track that process for leaders to have a bank of cards and sprints that they can actually tie to their own competency models to see how all of this relates together, give that person some feedback, some understanding and coaching, and then send them on their way and really see how engaged and committed each person is to going through these journeys as well. It provides some really important information to leaders in that way. But also for teams, as a coach or internal HR leader, facilitator, this can be a really great way to provide teams with some activities to do on their own time, to include this discussion in team effectiveness workshops, to share with one another what goals they're working on, to understand what people are working on, and pair them together if they have the same goal, so that they can really build a network of support and accountability, and they have that that material, that content to help them push them through without it being so overwhelming and putting it on their shoulders. So I really think this changes the entire assessment experience, because instead of just saying, okay, this was interesting or fun and filing it away, it's really focused on that what's next piece and really makes it feel personalized and customized to who that person is.
Perfect. Hey, Steph, do you want to just tell us a little bit about how organizations can use this tool and embed it into the different talent practices?
Yeah, so individuals have access to DynaMo after they go through the assessment. And like we've been talking about this whole time, it's really self-directed. So anyone can go through this on their own time at any point throughout the day, throughout the year. Maybe there's certain periods of time where you're promoting the use of this and encouraging people to go through it at the same time, so that people working on the same goals might be able to pair together, like I mentioned earlier, to embed this into team sessions and team workshops, to provide some open communication about the goals people are working on, and to help them understand how these goals relate to their role, to their performance goals, to the competencies within that organization. And again, leaders can use this to manage and track progress and understand how committed and engaged and dedicated people are to achieving those goals. And it really helps them structure those one-on-one feedback conversations, performance reviews, and just gives a bit more, makes that whole process a bit more structured, a bit more strategic and meaningful, so that people can see how all of this ties together. You want to increase self-awareness, and then you want to do something with that. You want to take action and make small changes in your behavior so that you really can be your best self every day. So for individuals, teams, leaders, and at that whole organization level, there's ways to embed DynaMo within that process and continue to see the value it brings.
Absolutely, absolutely. So just to recap everything we've shared as we approach time, DynaMo delivers data-driven coaching sprints for everyone. It has been carefully designed by a team of experts and scientists to meet the evolving demands and needs of the modern workforce, and through scalable and continuous coaching sprints that are completely personalized to the goals and unique profiles of each individual, DynaMo empowers everyone to develop the soft skills and critical capabilities that will lead to success. And as Steph mentioned, compared to other digital coaching tools out there, DynaMo is the only solution that brings together cutting edge, data-driven assessments, unique and engaging human design, and evidence-based coaching methods, all to deliver a very precise, targeted, and results-based coaching experience. And really, this is just the beginning. DynaMo is something that we're so excited about here at Deeper Signals, and we have a huge roadmap of planned enhancements that will be released every month for the foreseeable future. For example, we'll be able to add a new feature whereby you'll be able to share and seek sprint feedback from your team. So your team will be able to suggest which goals you should be working on, further embedding that feedback culture within your organization. We'll be able to track growth by inviting your colleagues to evaluate and share how much progress they are seeing you make on your goals and throughout your sprints. And you'll be able to access dashboards to not only track and measure your own progress, but also team leaders will be able to see how their group is growing and developing and building capability around their soft skills. We'll also be releasing features to provide intelligent notifications and integrate DynaMo into your platforms so that we can deliver dynamic and in-the-moment coaching feedback when you need it most. And then we'll be integrating generative AI technologies to provide on-demand coaching playbooks, enabling people to set their own goals that aren't in our library of suggestions, generate more personalized coaching content, and go deeper within their coaching journeys. So together, this is going to be a transformational talent solution designed for organizations that are looking to support and accelerate the development of everyone in the organization. And so thank you for joining us today and giving us your time to learn about DynaMo and how this exciting tool works. And to say thank you, you can all follow this link that's in the screen, and my colleague Mario will be posting in the chat for you to take the core drivers and start your own DynaMo journey. So you'll be able to get feedback on your core strengths and core risks, set your goals, and then spend the next few weeks and months working towards unlocking your potential. So thank you again, and we can open up to any comments or questions that you may have.
Hi, Reece. So we have a question from Manuel.
Okay. Hey.
She asked, can you explain how to use DynaMo in a team context?
Absolutely. Steph, this may be a question that you're best suited for.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of ways you could use this. Embedding this as a task or a piece of homework ahead of a team effectiveness session or within that session. I think it's really important that you first help everyone within that team understand who they are and understand each other. And then throughout that discussion about, okay, what do we need to work on as a team? What goals are most important to us? You as a leader or a facilitator could help each team member think about what goal they should select within their DynaMo journey based on the priorities of that team currently. So I'd say having open discussions about the core drivers and understanding the individual profiles and the collective profile will really lead to this DynaMo journey, to talking about what are our team commitments, what do we all need to work on, and then what, that what's next piece, what are we going to do? That's where DynaMo fits in. When people can talk about what goals they commit to, then they go on those journeys, then they can share with one another about that process. A lot of the cards within DynaMo ask you to seek feedback from others, to reach out to team members, to ask these questions, to work together on certain activities. So it can really become a more team-based journey if you as a facilitator or leader kind of set it up that way. But I think it works really well within a team setting.
We only had this one question, unless somebody asks something else.
I'm sure there'll be more once people dive in and give it a try for themselves. We're really excited for you to see this experience in action.
Absolutely. And so if anyone else would like to talk more about DynaMo, drop us a message and we can schedule a longer demo and we can explore how DynaMo can fit into your L&D strategy. Okay, well, thank you very much. Thank you for joining us. And I look forward to hearing how your DynaMo journeys work out for you. So have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.